What is up? It's Tony, the Driven Dad, and welcome back to the channel where you can follow our journey driving a Tesla Model Y to make a living. Today, we're going to be going over the information that I have gathered for myself in comparing how I was able to dash before I had Top Dasher, how I was able to dash with Top Dasher, as well as large order program without being a Top Dasher so far, and my Rideshare stats. And these are all going to be for the month of September, except for when I go through the top or the Doordash stuff, it's going to be Doordash versus the whole year up until I started going for 100% acceptance rate, because that's all the data that I have available. And then going for 100% acceptance rate, September will be cherry picking as a Top Dasher. And then after September, obviously, October will be all large order program, no Top Dasher. So let's get into it. These are the stats for my normal dashing, cherry picking. I had just about, I guess I'm doing this with active hours. So let's lay that down. So I only have to make things fair, I guess, or consistent. I have to use active hours. I'm not saying that active hours are the way to gauge your earnings per hour, but comparing what you're making while you're working actively on a platform is a good gauge of how profitable you can be when you're looking at money to hours. I'm not talking about money to miles, just money to hours. I didn't track anything to be just one app. I multi-app, so I don't have miles to, I'd have to guess on the miles. So maybe in the future I can start tracking miles specifically when I'm doing specific things, I guess, but that'll be a little bit difficult. Might have to use like several different mileage trackers and turn them on and off based on what I'm doing. But that seems like a whole lot of work for a very minute detail. Basically, I accept things that are $2 per mile or better when I'm not doing 100% AR. Outside of that, maybe I'll hit a couple $1.50s or so if it's slow, but usually it's $2 minimum. A lot of times it's higher based on demand. So let's get into it. Normal Top Dasher, or normal dasher, no top dashing. So I had 17.23 hours to work with. In that 17 hours, I made $478.18, which ends up being $27.75 per active hour. So next we'll go into Top Dasher, or going for Top Dasher. So going for Top Dasher, as you can see here, getting to Top Dasher for me, doing 100% acceptance rate. I did have one add-on that I didn't hear come through because the phone was in my pocket while I was in a loud restaurant. So I missed one, but I still did 100 orders. And out of those 100 orders, I made 99% acceptance rate. And in order to achieve that, it took me 40 hours, $811. So that ended up lowering my active hourly pay down to $20.16 per hour. So we can go on over to the next thing, which would be cherry picking as a Top Dasher. As you can see, cherry picking as a Top Dasher. Oops. There we go. Cherry picking as a Top Dasher. So I did 52 active hours in the month of September as a cherry picking Top Dasher. I made $1,675. and that ended up being about $31.66 per hour on the active time. So this was doing cherry picking as a top dasher, and I did not at the end of the month go for top dasher. So basically, if we added in those other hours, we could figure that out. Give me a second and I'll do that. Let's say we were doing top dasher at the end of the month, and that it took up to that point I was at 52 hours. So we're going to add another 40 hours of active time. 93, right? 0.15 2486.68. And then we'll do a new formula. We're going to do this and divide it by this to get that. So this would be projected top dasher with hell week. That's what everybody's been calling it. I don't call it that, but everybody calls it that, so I'll just go with that. So projected month of doing DoorDash as a top dasher, cherry picker, and then also going for 100% acceptance rate at the end of the month. For me, I would probably do it in 3 days versus 5, but it would still take 40 hours to do it, and then I wouldn't be able to really do anything besides DoorDash. So the amount of hours that it would take would need to be 40 active hours plus whatever. I don't know, I think it's probably about 8 hours of downtime at most. So with cherry picking and then needing to put in top dasher work, my average would be around $26 per hour, cherry picking and then doing top dasher, all in. And in my scenario, I only do DoorDash when something good comes across or it's lunchtime, right? So I don't do the dinner shift. So if you do dinner and that's your bread and butter, don't use my example. I do have some dinner shifts in there, but let's move on here. All right. So the next thing we're going to look at is how I'm doing as far as the large order program, that LOP juice. All right. So this is an unfinished month of doing DoorDash as a LOP LOP non-top dasher, without top dasher, LOP juice. And our active hours are at 13.92. So basically 14 hours. I've made $668.94. That puts it at $48.06 an hour without top dasher. So at the end of this month, I've got a video planned, I've got a challenge planned, and it will include doing 100 DoorDash orders in a row straight until I hit 100. So that being said, November I'll be able to compare LOP juice without top dasher to LOP juice with top dasher. All right, so let's get into the next format here. So now we're looking at Uber. How did we do on Uber? So with Uber, let me do that. With Uber, the way that they break things out, I couldn't figure out for the life of me. I guess I didn't really try that hard, but I should have in case there's an easier way to do this. But I could not find where it breaks down the active hour except for on each trip. So that being said, these are all the trips I did in September with, let's just click on that, with Uber. So we'll just keep going here. We can kind of look at the side there and see how this is ending up see my active per hour earnings here on Uber versus anything I was showing you on DoorDash. Granted, DoorDash I wasn't showing you by trip, but doesn't matter because I'm going to show you the grand totals here. Oh, that's a good one right there. So look, UberX, $586 per hour. So now we're here at the bottom here. So 41.99 active hours. I made $3,087.31. And that comes out to $73.52 per active hour. Now compare that to going for Top Dasher, which is about the same amount of time it takes in active time. $811 for $20 an hour versus if I use that 40 active hours in Uber instead. Can you see where I'm getting? Like, I understand if you're not doing rideshare, maybe it's a different story for you, but I just want people to understand that I put in the effort on the applications that pay me the best. And sometimes that's DoorDash at times of day. And a lot of times that's rideshare. So remember that. If I'm being a little sarcastic about DoorDash, it's because I make more money doing other things. So let's go into Lyft now. Now we're looking at Lyft. Lyft broke it down by the week. I just had to go in and add some stuff up for days in the first week and take some stuff out of the last week because they included money from August or October. So I took the September earnings out of August and put it into September. Took the October earnings out of October or out of September and left only September. So I did 31 active hours in doing Lyft, and that's Lyft Lux with Lyft Lux Black. I could do a trial where I just do Lyft Lux Black. So stay tuned for that maybe. $2,427.74 for $77.61 per active hour. So, rideshare for me is much better. Let me get out of all of these tabs here. Just to recap what we looked at here. We started off with doing DoorDash without even a thought of Top Dasher, without thinking about my active hours. Not a strategy at all. Just if something came through that I thought was good, I took it. Oh wait, no, that's this one. So $27 an hour, just doing some DoorDash here and there. If you look at those active hours, those are whole shifts of weeks. I went from June, because that's as far back as it goes, all the way till I started doing the Top Dasher sprint, the Project Top Dasher. So get into Project Top Dasher. Going for Top Dasher, $20.16 per active hour. And we're not even talking mileage. Like, I know that was about $1 per mile average. And we can just assume that I probably averaged $2 per mile here, maybe better. And then let's go for, and then this would be probably about $1.25 to $1.50 per mile if you were to wait, because that's like almost 50-50 as far as the split of how long you work to cherry pick versus how long you work doing a Top Dasher sprint. All right, and then we're here going for Top Dasher, then we were Top Dasher, and now we're large order program juice. We got that juice, and it's at $48 per hour, but then we get to the real deal here, Uber, and this is with delivery. And if we go to delivery, and look at some of these. I could probably, I haven't really worked with this program very much, but look, $31 per hour. Deliveries on here were not my good amount of money. So 36, 40. That one was pretty decent. Almost large order program-esque. Here's a delivery. That one probably had a good surge on it. This one probably had a good surge on it. But these are better than large order program, right? So just going through here, looking at deliveries, so we can just see, like, I hardly do delivery on Uber unless it's profitable. I hardly do deliveries on Doordash unless it's profitable, or I hardly do them on Uber unless it's profitable. So just keep scrolling here. There are some weeks where I was like trying to hit a quest bonus, never hit it, but that's where you'll start seeing more deliveries, and you'll see that when I'm doing more deliveries, they probably weren't surged, or they had little surge on it. But deliveries take time because you got to go into the restaurant, you potentially have a wait, and then you have to get out of the car, drop the food off, potentially have a wait, depending on if it's a person that's meet at door, or they didn't give you the key code to get into the housing complex or the apartments. So let's just get back to it here. So in my opinion, for me, doing DoorDash is not profitable as doing rideshare. Even doing UberEats with my rideshare account. So that being said, I hope everybody got some good information out of this. I hope it helps you make some decisions for you if you're on the fence of what programs you would like to be a part of, whether it's DoorDash programs, Uber programs, Lyft programs. I'll tell you what, the only program I was officially part of in this video is the Top Dasher program and the large order program for the last portion of the analytics for DoorDash. That was only October. I didn't have it during September. When I got it in September was the 27th. I didn't even do any large orders that day. So I didn't start doing large orders until October when I got back from my trip to Virginia and back, which will be a video for another day. If you got some good information out of this, I'd appreciate a like on the video. If you have not already done so, subscribe to the video. I hope everybody has a profitable day, and remember to stay driven.